All right, let's do it live on a Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Beau. He is the great Z. How you living, buddy?
I'm doing well. You know, a little weary after my long road trip to and from the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. We had a fun time with Browns Live, first ever Browns Live overtime as well.
Really?
It was a lot of fun. You can check if you missed it. Go to the Browns YouTube channel, youtube.com/Browns, and check it out. And it was good. Kevin Stefanski, Peter King, Denzel Ward, the top dog Hanford Dixon, as well as Doug Deacon, Joe Thomas, and Jedrick Wills in a line roundtable, and then, of course, hosted by myself and Jim Donovan. And it was pretty cool that we were in the gallery, the Hall of Fame gallery.
That place is humbling, right?
It was awesome. I mean, I'm looking over the shoulder, and there's Dick Butkus looking back at me, and we got Frank Gifford with his perfectly coiffed hair on his bust, and just it's such a neat room. And 17 of those busts belong to the Cleveland Browns, which is, you know, sixth most in all of football. So it was a special place, and it was a fun night. And I hope people who tuned in enjoyed it. If you didn't, check it out. There's some good stuff in there.
I'm thrilled about all of that. I would be remiss if I did not mention that I am hurt. I am frankly hurt. And
What?
I don't know if I'll be able to do this show with the same type of enthusiasm,
Vigor?
the same zest, vigor that I normally do. I'm distracted. I'm hurt more than anything. Not mad.
I'm
Not
sad.
mad.
I'm nervous.
more
Have I
hurt.
caused you this hurt?
Yeah. Well,
I did?
You no, not you personally, but you are kind of the personification of the sadness. You are the embodiment of the sadness, which is it's just not how our relationship has been. It's not something that is in our
history.
history.
Follow me on social?
I don't follow you on social, but I did see an image of you doing the Browns Live, and I'm seeing you now on our private Zoom that we have. And I'm seeing you in a quarter zip. And it's a quarter zip with the 75th anniversary logo, which who wouldn't love it? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful logo.
It's a real
stunningly designed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think back to, my impact on the organization, and I would think probably quarter zips would be near the top of my impact.
I would say I'm pretty sure that they didn't even sell Browns branded quarter zips before you got involved.
Right.
Yeah. So I see where you're going.
I think you're probably right.
I see where you're going with this.
And
I'll tell you,
so
yours is waiting for you.
Is it disappointment?
Here. It's
no,
here in Berea.
It's just sadness. I think you're lying.
I'm
the
not.
Sadness of it all is real, and I just feel heartbroken more than anything else.
So
and not at you, not at you, because I know that you are not the one responsible for it. This was something that we would get together as a team at one time, and now, I feel a little bit like Marty Jannetty.
I think no, stop it. You're not going through the barbershop window. You stop that right now.
Straight through the window.
What I would tell you is that there is one for you, but you're not physically here. Now, the last time, and I know why now I understand fully why the sadness exists, but why you're not mad at me is because
sadness.
The last time I was able to get my hands on something that was supposed to be for you, which was when the uniforms were unveiled, I hand-delivered it to your home.
Hand-delivered it.
Hand-delivered it. That's right.
Hand-delivered it.
White glove service. And so, in this case, obviously, I'm not in physical possession of yours. I know that yours is out there, though.
I would say because mine doesn't exist.
No, that's not. I don't believe that that's true at all. I don't. I'm being serious.
I would say.
I don't believe that that's true.
I will say that it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
What a logo.
It's a beaut. It's a real beaut, Clark.
Hey, camera guy, zoom in on this.
Zoom in on that. Get a real tight logo lock on that
Come right
sucker.
in here.
That's a beaut.
It's a beaut. And what's cool, a little detail of it that's pretty neat when you look at it, is it's got 8 stars on it, 1 for each of the 8 world championships, which is, I think, a nice little touch here on this logo.
Touch.
Did he get a nice zoom, Gibby?
So that is something.
He did it.
Yeah, get a nice zoom, Gibby.
Yes.
Give it. That is something that the European soccer teams do, which I think is awesome and have forever, is they do stars for championships won. A lot of times European championships, unless you're Real Madrid and you've won like 10, but everybody else does, like, they'll do the stars over those. So that is a cool thing to do on a logo, is to have the stars allow for championships won. So that's a good job out of that logo. That's good. It looks great on you. I'm thrilled for you.
I will make sure.
It's beautiful.
I am going to make sure that in the year 2021, I'm going to give you two things that I'm going to make sure. You can write this down. March 12th, 2021. I am declaring that by December 31st of the year 2021, you will have two things. One, you will have a 75th anniversary Browns quarter zip. Two, you will have some type of Young Money football gear. These are the things I'm guaranteeing.
Whoa. Wow.
When The Rock would say, The Rock guarantees. That's what I'm doing.
Wow. The agent to the stars. I mean, that's been an ask going back 3 years.
That's right. But 2021 is the time.
We'll see.
This is the year.
It's all and then I assure you'll have the transformative turkey. So do
you wear a nice ball cap from time to time?
Oh, I love a ball cap.
So like a black fitted ball cap that said Young Money football on it.
Oh,
that's something you might be interested in.
Are you kidding?
Okay, all right.
Of course. What am I, hard of interest in black Young Money ball caps? Of course.
No, you're not. So let me. I know that you're sad, but let me. I have a follow up to the thing that I think brought you a lot of joy yesterday, and so there's more to it. As Gibbe is under now what we can only call insurmountable pressure. The
pressure he is under, I mean, it's a Nixon Watergate situation. I mean, it's
over.
He
knows it. It's over.
Hopping on a chopper. He knows it. He's the man solely responsible for no light. We all know that. It's been well documented. He built the set by himself to exactly his specifications.
The flag is up in Iwo Jima. Yeah. That's where we're at.
I get more nervous deciding what bar to go to before I worry about your light.
Okay, here you go.
Okay.
This
isn't even on my
We have a new
radar. From 1 to 3, this is just an annoyance.
We have a new transmission. A new transmission.
Oh no.
From the former Secretary of the Navy. And
gosh.
And I quote.
Oh.
Nice shout out today on the show. Please tell Gibbe that I have great respect and affection for him. He's the only guy I personally know whom the Edge has referred to as, quote, a cool guy. However, the CBD studio is, quote, first in its class studio, the only one officially commissioned by the Undersecretary of the Navy.
That's right.
It deserves the best technology to keep it competitive. I'm reminded of that scene from The Right Stuff. Wow, I love this. I'm reminded of that scene from The Right Stuff when Alan Shepard tells the guys from NASA that John Glenn is, quote, a pilot. He deserves to know the condition of his craft. You and Beau are the captains of the CBD ship, a commissioned ship. You deserve to know the condition of your craft as you broadcast to Browns Nation in every corner of the globe.
Wow.
Lights away, my boys. Lights away.
Wow. Lights away. I don't even know how Gibby is a Clydesdale, as we saw during all of our COVID broadcasting. He's a Clydesdale. He will blow through anything, but even he would have to be deterred now by the former Undersecretary of the Navy, now twice.
I mean, that's got to tug at your heartstrings.
It feels like an order.
Were you guys talking to me? I was watching the Players' Championship.
We weren't.
Let me tell you something.
No,
I was watching the Players' Championship. I wasn't really paying attention.
Me all you want. If that makes you feel good, you go ahead. You disrespect me. You want to disrespect Beau? Go ahead.
Fine.
You want to disrespect the Undersecretary, then Acting Secretary of the Navy, Cleveland legend, Tom Modley? The Honorable Thomas Modley?
I don't disrespect Thomas Modley.
You just did. You said,
I
were
only
you
disrespect
talking as you knew
goofballs.
We were about to read a transmission right from him. I had to decode it. I did. I have now shared it with you, and then you pretended like you didn't hear us talking when you knew what we were going to be talking about.
I'm sorry, Browns fans. I know you tuned in to hear football, but you're going to hear about your stupid light today.
No,
let me tell you something.
It's a light update from Nathan every day.
In Australia, there are 7 continents on the planet. 2 of them are absolutely in on the light. 2 continents.
Get out of here. I thought there were 6.
That doesn't surprise me. Do you even know about Pangea?
Get out of here.
You don't.
Great.
Oh,
it doesn't
what
impact
a start.
me.
We only
Pangea
have an hour today, kids. We've only got an hour today, maybe less. We better get into the OBM Hot Topics. Ohio Business Receipt, preferred copier provider of your Cleveland Browns. Of all the X's and O's for your office, call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Legal Tampering Monday. and we'll go around the league here in a second, but legal tampering on Monday, and you will see. What do you anticipate this weekend? You think you'll see a lot of these restructurings between now and Monday?
I do. I think you will see a ton of restructurings, maybe even into once people know, once legal tampering begins, which should just be called, and everybody's right. We got a question about this for Peter King last night. The name is one of the most absurd names in the history of really anything that's become commonplace. Legal tampering. I mean, it is a complete oxymoron. Let's just call it the negotiating window.
Tampering.
Okay.
There you go.
We're now allowed to negotiate.
Oh, boy.
Let's do that. I'd call it, or you can even call it the studio light window. The light is on. Things may go.
I like that. Legal negotiating period. It's that time. I just have spotted the first vulture of the season.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. It's that time. This is when they come back. Not great. NFL draft news. Teams are permitted to work in draft rooms this year. Mask and social distancing still have to happen. No food or drink allowed in the room, but it's a step in the right direction. Okay, let me just ask you this, just devil's advocate. If everybody in that room is either tested or vaccinated, one or the other.
Which is very possible by the time of the draft.
Which is very possible by the time you get to then. It looks like everyone will have an opportunity to be vaccinated by May 1. So if that is the case, why would they have to wear masks? Why would they have to be socially distanced? Why would there not be allowed to be food or drink in the room if those things had happened?
I don't know. My guess is they're putting this out there now with the ability to revise on the fly, which I think they will. Because if the CDC is saying that once you are vaccinated, you can be indoors with others who are vaccinated, and by the way, everybody in that room will have been tested, that I think that they will revise that to the point where they're able to say, okay, yeah, we can be in there. And the exclusion of food and drink is great because they're trying to say, don't you pull that mask down for a little sip there. Not having it.
What?
We're not having it. I think
what are we doing?
What is written here today, March 12th, will not be, in my opinion, what the actual state of affairs is by the end of April.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think so. I think you're going to have. I mean, yeah, I think vast majority of us who want to be vaccinated will be by then, and at that point, away you go. I didn't understand in the season actually while we were worried about, coaches wearing masks. And I'm thinking, well, everybody in there is in a bubble. Everybody's vaccinated. Nobody was more mask diligent than Kevin Stefanski. I mean, I never saw him without one ever, and we ended up missing a game. So it was just a strange. All of that was quite strange, and I think you're probably going to have a lot of loosening up of that as the vaccination continues to roll out in big numbers.
Yes.
And you'll see some of that. Lots to get to on the program today. We will go around the league. We will do some CBD free agent big board as you head into free agent weekend. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. Just a short edition of the program as the Buckeyes will play around 2 o'clock today in the Big Ten tournament against Purdue in what should be a really, really good game. So you have that to look forward to coming up here in about 45 minutes from now. We will entertain the best we can between now and then. If your game plan for the season includes buying or selling a home, Howard Hanna Real Estate Services has you covered. Visit howardhanna.com/GoBrowns. Today we go around the league, and there's a lot to go around. Some restructuring. Cam Newton can kind of, hey kid who was running your mouth at me. Maybe not so much anymore.
Yeah,
maybe not so much, Cam. I'm doing just fine. We'll get to all that coming up next. Off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Are you on the injured list? We can help get you back in the game. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Let's go around the league where there are restructurings aplenty, including Tom Brady getting an extension through 2022. And you have astutely been discussing this week with our various NFL guests of this idea of 1 year chasing the championship, and what's happening in Tampa Bay aligns very well with that, because this extension will allow them to pursue and keep Shaq Barrett. It saves them. I thought I said Joel Corey saying like $19 million on the cap. So that's huge.
Yeah.
It'll allow them to do Shaq Barrett, and then they'll be able to go get these 1 year guys, and there's going to be a lot of those guys. So they should go into next season as the favorite. They should. As Super Bowl champions, they should. And I think they're going to have a chance to be a little bit of an all-star team.
Yeah, and that's exactly why this is happening. It was something, I actually talked to Paul DePodesta about it, and the Browns obviously prepared for any scenarios, but there is a growing belief around the league that you are going to have these 1 year deals. And what Tom Brady did is said, I'd like to win again. I would like to see if I can take my parade performance to another level. And so I'm going to clear $19 million. Yeah, Shaq Barrett could sign a 1 year deal.
Sure.
For that. Or they can
Yep.
The other thing they can do with $19 million is probably sign 4 pretty good vets for 4 to 5 apiece who are ring chasing.
Yeah. Yep. And they still have some other stuff they can do from a restructuring standpoint. They have some other players that they can do some stuff with, so they're going to have a lot of flexibility, and I think that's going to be something that you see, over the weekend. We've seen the Saints restructure Michael Thomas, Marshawn Lattimore as well. With the Saints as Lattimore locked up. Did you see that as well today? So there's a lot happening right now on that front in terms of getting deals changed in an effort to get under the cap and then to create space. And Brady doing a big job there of saving the Bucs in a very big way.
I did
when
see
you
the
saw
Marshawn Lattimore
morning,
one. What happened with Marshawn Lattimore?
Well, there was a tweet that had them locked up, that had Lattimore and Michael Thomas locked up from this morning. I want to say that Florio had it.
Okay. All right. I have not. I'm efforting that. I have not seen.
I'll pull
that.
it up.
Okay.
And then you did see the Michael Thomas restructure.
Yes. That
I read it wrong. It was a picture of the two of them locked up.
The Saints tweeted something out that they both retweeted, but it doesn't have any. It doesn't have any words with it. It doesn't say what it might be representing.
Okay. Maybe
the last I saw with Lattimore is that he's in some trade rumors. I don't think they're going to get rid of him. I think that would be foolish, but that's one of the rumors that is out there. The big one that I saw was
So
go ahead.
So the one I saw was it was the Saints one, and the Saints tweeted an hour ago. His Twitter can't guard Mike's, Times can't guard Mike, and then a lock, which led me to believe locked up.
Certainly, you would think that that's what it means. That has not been
right. How else would you? So the New Orleans Saints tweeted it out. It's a lock, like a padlock. Marshawn Lattimore's hash, and then Times at can't guard Mike with a bicep. And Marshawn Lattimore retweeted it, which would lead me to believe that they've locked him up.
Lattimore did retweet it. I'm looking at it right now on his feed. So, yeah, perhaps that's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe they're saying a strength and a
that's
lockup. It says Ohio State football underneath it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah. I think so. I think that's where you're at on that front.
What
do you make of the Cam Newton deal?
I think he really wanted to go back, is what I think. I think he really, 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 really wanted to go back. And I think that they felt that maybe what they were getting earlier in the season, pre-COVID, Cam, is something that they can get more out of. I think that they will still very much be in the market for a young quarterback. But I think, to your point, they were not in a position where they felt they could go with any of the other names that have been associated with them, and maybe they're not thinking they're getting Garoppolo. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
that's,
1 year.
That's what I thought.
What was the salary? 1 year?
1 year, 14.
14. Yeah, so he's going to play.
And he played for like $1 million last year, so
I
you're
think-
not paying him $14 million to not play.
I think
So this is probably a couple of things. It's probably a little bit of a make good. They like Cam in the room. And I think the other thing to this, I've talked to some people who are familiar with that organization this morning, and I think the Patriots are thinking, we're going to run it. And all of you guys with 220-pound linebackers, let's see how you handle guards coming at you. And they're going to run it heavy and kind of zig while everybody else is zagging.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right about that.
I don't know.
Maybe they bring in Hunter Henry. I still think that
Yeah.
would make a lot of sense. Cam Newton, you think about when he was at his best, he had Greg Olsen in Carolina, a tight end that
Yep.
he leaned on and allows you to do a lot of things in that play action game, some of those fakes over the middle, etc. So I think that's what they're going totally. And you've heard coaches talk about that.
Yeah.
There are going to be some teams are going to go and just try to load up and run on you, but Cam can be very effective in that style of an offense, but they need to get him that tight end in the middle, which is why I think Hunter Henry makes a lot of sense for them. I also think that they could draft a young quarterback if they like one. For example,
Sure.
a Mac Jones. After all, they did pretty well with Tom Brady. I can't imagine what Belichick would be able to do with a more mobile Tom Brady.
Yeah. So I think that would – the Mac Jones thing needs to settle down a little bit. It's running pretty wild.
It is what it is.
A more mobile Tom Brady.
Yeah. If they were good with
He's a more mobile Tom
they
Brady.
won 6 with Brady. What would they do with a more mobile Tom Brady?
12.
Right.
A more mobile Tom Brady. I would think you'd win a baker's dozen. What's stopping you? Win it every year. If you have a more mobile Tom Brady.
Wherever
that's
he
all
gets
is.
drafted, honestly, that's the favorite. The Bucs are the holding place favorite until we find out where Mac Jones gets drafted.
With the more mobile Tom Brady.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm surprised the Bucs kept him when they could have just tried to draft a more mobile version of him.
Yeah. A more mobile. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. It's hard to say more mobile a bunch of times in a row. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I have noticed that. I have. More mobile. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. I think
it's tough to say. You really have to think about it.
When you grew up in California, Mobile was the gas station, so you had
yeah.
Mobile was very on the tip of your tongue.
Isn't that out of Texas?
Maybe, but that's where I got my gas as a young man.
Sure.
As a young lad in
Exxon
California.
Mobil.
The 1973 Chevy Nova.
What color did you roll on that thing?
Well, when I got it as a hand-me-down, it's actually an Oldsmobile Omega, which is the exact same car as the Chevy Nova, but it's cooler to say the Chevy Nova, so I say the Chevy Nova. It was a 1973 Oldsmobile Omega, and it was bench seats in the front, column shift,
beautiful.
Inline.
What a time to be alive.
Inline 6 that was loud and fast. And when I got it, I would describe it as baby diarrhea yellow would be the color
beautiful.
Of the car.
Classic and gorgeous, yeah.
And the rims also featured that color. It was really a stunning machine. So I took it to Earl Scheib. And
what a guy.
I mowed a bunch of lawns, did some lifeguarding, saved up, I think it was like a couple $100 to get the metallic. And I got myself a maroon metallic paint on it that had, when it glistened in the sun. It was beautiful.
Oh, a little glisten, yeah.
The thing, though, about the old Earl Scheib paint job is it's an exterior paint job. So when you would open the doors or the trunk or the hood, the insides were still baby puke yellow.
The door wells were still yellow.
Oh, that's right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Of course.
Unbelievable. But it was a great car. I mean, a car could tell some stories.
It's amazing that we have never told these stories. My first vehicle was a 1975 Chevy Cheyenne pickup with a bench seat, which was spectacular, as you know.
Why are there not more cars with bench seats?
I don't know. They should. That's such a win, especially in the front. It was the original color when I got it was what can be described as a mint with white. It was basically mint with white, with a white stripe on it.
Yes,
white.
A racing stripe.
And I saved up money and painted it a lovely metallic teal with black rims.
Yes.
So, yes, I can identify with what you've done there, sir.
My high school rims were hubcaps purchased at Kmart in the style of the beautiful spoked ones. This car was – I had my buddy put like a subwoofer in the trunk and like wired it
Yes.
himself. There were like bad holes cut out. Everything. It was a disaster. But you knew when I was coming around town.
It's the best.
Oh, I loved that car. Like, I wish I could have that car again as just like a weekender, like a cruiser. It was fun.
Awesome.
It was good.
Who is it? What's that noise? Oh, it's just that Zegura kid. It's just Nate.
It's just that Zegura kid.
It's just that Zegura kid again.
He likes that
Matt
rap
Milano.
music. What's going on?
Oh, sure.
Loved it.
Yeah. Matt Milano back to the Bills. They get that deal done, and he
It's a big
stays
one.
there, and he's a guy that we thought maybe would be out there.
Well, the top 2 linebackers now in this free agency class are gone, are off the market. Jayon Brown, who's coming back from an injury, I think that he is probably the top remaining linebacker on the free agent board now, just kind of in a league-wide consensus top linebacker. Milano was a guy that people thought was going to make a lot of money in free agency. The Bills said, we're not letting you get there. I don't believe they lost in the regular season with him on the field. I think he only played 10 or 11 games, and they were undefeated when he was on that defense. A good sideline-to-sideline linebacker.
Yeah, he is.
Now we get into the fine human portion of the show.
Yep, and they're doing everything right, by the way, there in Buffalo. They're building that thing correctly. Now our guys.
Yes.
Kirko signing with the Texans. That is awesome. That was what not to get lost in just a wild day down there with Corey and that presser and all of it, which was insane. But good for Kirko. So he lands with the Texans, and then the generosity.
Oh, the benevolence.
The benevolence.
Yes, the benevolence of Cole. Yes.
Of Cole.
Oh, Cole. I mean, what about this quote that he gives? Would you like to read? I wish he could call in and read the quote himself.
Oh my gosh.
Should we have Gibbe do a dramatic reading of it since he's so good at that? Gibbe, will you pop on and do a dramatic reading?
Give us a dramatic reading
of Cole's quote.
I love being a part of the Vikings family, and I'm happy to help them get where they need to be in this difficult time, and hopefully that also means playing for a Super Bowl title.
Cole.
Yes.
Cole.
Bravo.
What a job.
Bravo. Gibbe.
Oh, it's awesome. Good job, Gibbe. That is great.
I feel like
so Cole stays. And
he was wearing a shearling when he gave that quote. There's no doubt.
No question.
Even though he's down in.
Think how much use he got out of the shearling in Minneapolis this year. So much use out of the shearling, even more than here.
He's down at his spot. What's the name of that spot? That's where they're at.
He's in watercolor.
He's
at watercolor.
Oh, I saw the kids on the golf course having the time of their lives. It's beautiful.
He's having the time
All
of
the
his
little
life
Coles
right
running
That's
around.
Absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah.
Sure. You want a Cole? One of the all-time great
You want a
lines when we
Cole?
played Rocky Top. It's not a song; it's a way of life. I mean, that's Cole. Cole at his finest. God bless him. Good job out of him. All right, coming up next, we hit the free agency big board. We'll take a look at the tight end position. Obviously, pretty full for us. What could it look like? We get into that coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Beau Bishop for my friends at Weather Seal Home Services. If you need a roof replacement, now is the time. You can replace it for the last time, and that's the benefit of choosing a metal roof for the friends at Weather Seal. Metal roof technology, materials, styles, colors have improved significantly. They are beautiful, nearly indestructible, and affordable, especially with Weather Seal. Plus, with new metal roof technology, Weather Seal includes a 6-inch gutter upgrade up to 7 years, 0 inches financing on that as well. Call my guys, 877-351-SEAL, or visit weathersealhomeservices.com. All right, we conclude. This is the conclusion of the big board, isn't it? We don't have anything else to do on this front, do we? This is it, yeah.
That's it.
We conclude the CB Day free agent big board at the tight end position, and for that, we bring on Dr. Z.
Yes. That's my tight end big board. We're set. What are we doing here? We're set. Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Harrison Bryant, and Steve Carlson.
That's it. That's the
it.
list.
I'm not, because it would require either an injury or something crazy to happen for us to need a tight end in free agency, which I don't think is happening in the next week. So there you go. There's my big board. Yes.
That's a very good job out of you.
We're going to do the running back big board next, Gibby?
Just torpedoing Gibby. Here. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
The
wall's coming down.
When you are Kevin Stefanski,
yes,
and you spend this offseason, you say, how do I – because I think one of the things that was a little surprising to me was and he was spectacular in the run game, obviously, in the blocking. But I was surprised at how little Austin Hooper was used in the pass game. And you saw these flashes of David Njoku as the season was going on, and he was able to – and when we talk about that speed, it's really just an ability to stretch the field, and David does provide that at his position. So you have that you got to work out, and then you have Harrison Bryant, who was so brilliant but then had some fumble issues. So this is a room that is really, really good, but I don't know if it equaled the sum of its parts.
So last year out of the room, you basically got, as I'm adding it, about 900 yards and 9 touchdowns. I think that I would take the over on both of those numbers going into 2021.
I would have at the beginning of last year.
Of course.
By a wide margin.
Yes.
I would have thought David, 400 or 500, and I would have thought, Hoop would have been 900 on his own.
It certainly
or
looked
thereabout,
that way
800 on his own, 850.
I think we will see more from them as the coming into next year. And I think David Njoku has an opportunity to really take a big step forward, and why I say that is he's a guy that has that unique athletic profile. You look at the final 3 games of the regular season, and then you even think about in the first playoff game against Pittsburgh, but the final 3 games of the regular season, Austin Hooper, 16 catches, 149 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Okay? That is much more in line with the kind of production that I expect from him for over a full season, which would be 64 catches. That would be basically, that would be real production. You had 16.
Yeah.
You got to times it. Basically 5 times those numbers will get you to 16 games. But so you're talking, that's actually 80 catches. That's actually 700 plus yards and 8-9 touchdowns just by Austin Hooper. And David Njoku played roles in those games. So I do think that's something that you could see going forward, more production out of this room. I think that Austin Hooper will get more involved because we were much more of a, I would say, passing team over the second half. And I think that does carry forward. I think we will be, the run is going to be a big part of what we do. But I think, in some of the scheme evaluation that Kevin Stefanski's doing is that, there are things we did really well. We were one of the best screen teams in the NFL. We were one of the best empty teams in the NFL. Those are both passes. And the tight end screen is something that is definitely in our playbook. We saw Chief go for over 20 yards against the Chiefs with the tight end screen. So I do think this position, I'd be stunned if they add somebody in free agency. Could there be a draft pick down the road that you want to groom as well? Perhaps. Because you do have to think about some succession planning because with Austin and David at the top, Austin, entering the second year of his contract, which I believe was a 3-year deal. The Chief will be a free agent at the end of this year. So I could see additions in here. It is. I would be stunned if it is a big addition via free agency at any point.
Have you've done these shows many times, and have you ever done some? And this actually happened yesterday on the Big Ten Network in their post game show after the Ohio State game, where the host went to Len Elmore to break down what was. It was a frantic finish. Minnesota almost won. Ohio State was up 12 with a minute 30 and almost blew it.
Yeah, I believe
Minnesota
me.
scored like
I was
18
aware.
points in 2 minutes.
I was invested.
Yes, I know that you were. And so afterwards, Revson goes to Len Elmore. He goes, "Boy, Len, just what do you make of the last couple of minutes there?" And Len Elmore says something to the effect of, I'm paraphrasing, but this is about the length of what he has to say. There's a lot to digest, and I'm still digesting, and stops talking. So this is his, he's going to him for analysis, and he says about 6 words and just stops. And Revson's got, some of it's because they're in different locations. Like that's all he gave him. And so that's when you just did that on the tight ends. Like that happens sometimes. You're doing something with somebody you've never done it before or don't have a lot of chemistry with, and you go and you give him this big lead-in coming off a big thing, and then I got about 5 words for you.
Well, mine was much more intentional.
I know what
Elmore's.
yours was.
Yes.
I know what you were doing. I'm saying that from the standpoint of, have you ever been in a situation where you're doing a show with somebody for the first time and you toss to them and you get like a 6-word answer? You go, okay, it's going to be a long hour here.
Have I? Yes.
That's happened to me a lot with guests.
One of the first times when I was on that other pregame show that I had a segment, it was myself and Bart Scott. And this was when Bart was just breaking into broadcasting.
Just starting.
And he literally, this was his broadcasting debut was as a member of Tops. And there's what he just had a kind of like froze up, and I'm like, all right. We ended up having the most fun ever, as you can imagine, over the course of the season. But yeah, sometimes that happens. I've never had somebody give me
stop short.
Well, we know about the quick stops. We deal with quick stops all the time. But
stops all the time. Yeah.
But in terms of somebody say, I've never heard somebody, because that's not a, I don't know what I'm going to say, deer in headlights, or maybe it is, but that sounded like a pretty, there's a lot to digest, and I'm still digesting, which is not interested in providing analysis right now. We've heard things in other ways, right? I'm not going to answer that question, or I'm
just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. Or, I'm not the general manager, so I'm not going to speak for a general manager or anything like that. But,
Right. Those things happen. But usually when you're an analyst, you
analyze.
There's analysis that comes. Yeah.
That's why you're there.
Obsessing over something. That's why you're there.
That's why you're there.
If you're obsessing over something like football, it could be a problem. If you're obsessing over gambling, it can be dangerous. Do something about it. If you want some tips, go to keepitfunohio.com for great ways to keep gambling fun. Still so much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Just a heads up, you guys.
Be sure to catch the latest edition of the best podcast available, presented by Key Private Bank, out now wherever you get your podcasts or by going to youtube.com/Browns. It is the pre-agent preview edition. Z and Mike Clay. Clooney got the call in. Mike Clay from ESPN joining as well. So you know the level of quality will be there.
Not only did I get the call in, but did you see? I know you don't follow me, but do you follow Gibbe?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Well, there was a tweet earlier today that is, I mean, it's really, really drawing a lot of attention, and it's from the Browns Daily official account, which is also Gibbe. And it says, he quote tweets himself, which is such a power move when you have two Twitter accounts. He quote tweets the Gibbe account, promoting the best podcast available, and says,
At Gibbe,
and says, give this a watch or listen. Clooney is back.
Oh my gosh. Beautiful.
I want this. I might frame this. I might want this framed.
Yeah, that is great. That is absolutely great.
Yes.
Oh, man. Buckeyes coming up here against Purdue momentarily. It's been a really, just from a newsworthy standpoint, we had Duke yesterday in the ACC. We had Virginia today bowing out of the ACC tournament, and now Kansas on the Big 12 side of things bowing out with positive tests. I would say it is very likely that the Big Ten tournament goes off without a hitch. The reason I would say that is the Big Ten and the protocols are the strictest in college athletics by a wide, wide margin. And so I think they will be able to pull this off. These other leagues have not been at the level that the Big Ten has been in terms of protocols or testing, and it's showing. And it's going to put in danger the big tournament. Because in order to –
1 minute.
Election Sunday is Sunday, and then you have to have 2 negative tests before you can enter the snow globe bubble. So pay attention to that. And these are heavy hitters, man. We're talking about Duke, Virginia, Kansas. Those are A-list NCAA tournament teams that and Duke probably wasn't going to make it anyway.
Right.
But maybe.
Sorry, Gibbe.
Maybe. And now they're not. And Virginia, who knows what's going to happen with them, and then Kansas too. So there you go. So enjoy your Buckeyes. They're coming up.
30.
All right.
Parting shot, Z?
Let's go. Weekend is here. The sun is out. Let's go. Too bad it's not warm
Just
enough
a
for
quick,
some small ball.
Just a quick little
Just a little
50-minute
something.
edition of the program.
Gosh, flies by.
Just a little taste.
Yes.
Go Bucks.
Let's
We're
go.
back Monday. Free agency is going to be a lot of fun. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.